Greetings, I'm Mark with Unlimited Story, a channel dedicated to writing, world building, marketing, and most importantly, getting things done. If that's interesting to you, consider subscribing or checking out our website, unlimited-story.com. In this video, I'm talking to Hugh Howey. He is a featured author, he is a top 5 favorite author, and he is also a trending author on Kindle Vella with his book, Death and Life, a Biography. If you want to check it out, of course, it's on Kindle Vella. So, here we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark, and I am here with Hugh Howey. Did I say that correctly?
You did, yeah.
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Array off
Nobody
to a
would
great
get that right.
start. Hugh Howey is an author. He's actually one of the featured authors on the Kindle Vella platform, and he's actually been trending almost the entire first week, as it has started just this week. And he is also one of the top 5 favorites. So welcome, Hugh, and let's get started. Um,
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me.
you betcha. So, what got you into writing right out of the gate? What started you off on this journey?
Um, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams
All
and
right.
Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I'm really lucky that I read those books practically back to back when I was really young, and
Mhm.
I just wanted more of the exact same. And so I just thought I'd have to write the rest of it myself
Mhm.
and started copying their voice and their ideas. But couldn't finish a novel. Like I would write a few chapters, and it took about 20 years before I finally started writing a book that I actually finished.
That's definitely an author's struggle. And that was around the age of 12, right? Because it was that in your. I thought I read that in your biography.
Yeah, yeah. I started around started dreaming of being a writer about 12, and I was around 32 when I finally wrote my first book.
Okay. All right. Cool. And would you say, or how would you say your writing style is different from not only just those authors, like who wrote Ender Game, but from other authors in general?
I One of the things about my writing style, I think, is that I write in a whole lot of different genres. But I think I've heard from readers, and it's hard to have your own opinion about your writing style. You have to kind
Of
of go
course,
off of what your editors and readers say
what your
because you
beta
can't
readers and all
see.
that stuff say, yeah.
Yeah, it feels natural to me to write the way I do. But
Mhm.
the feedback I get from people is that they love my writing, even though I write in different genres. So the story we'll talk about today is very memoir nonfiction
Mhm.
with some humor, and I write some really dark post-apocalyptic stuff, and I
Mhm.
write some romance-heavy near-future stuff, a lot of young adult.
Mhm.
And I think my prose style is very similar to a lot of these, with a mix of this is feedback from my mom, who's one of my editors, that
Uh,
I what she loves is that I mix. Sorry, some motorcycles going by, really loud right now. Got construction in the back and
mhm.
Harleys in the front. I think the thing that the feedback I hear from my mom, who's one of my editors, is that I write kind of a style that mixes short sentences with long flowing sentences, and that's the thing I go for with my writing is that it has to kind of sound like music to me, have a sing song flow to it.
It's got to be kind of smooth, like almost like you're listening, yeah, like the music. Just it's got a flow to it. You don't feel disjointed.
Yeah, exactly. And I have an ear for what's wrong in writing, which I think makes me a good editor.
Hmm.
I don't know that I'm a great writer, but I think I edit really well. So I write a rough draft and then I'll do 12 revisions to get it to where it sounds right to me.
12. Wow, that
Yeah,
sounds like
12 full, like beginning to end
mm,
rewrites.
wow,
I mean,
wow.
the the ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th ones are very minor, where you're just
Hmm.
finding a few
Hmm.
rough edges here and there. But the first few are pretty heavy rewrites.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about this, the Death and Life biography, which you wrote, which is on Kindle Vella right now. If anyone wants to go check it out, what got you started on it? Why did you decide to do it? Because you even mentioned in there, you're like, I didn't really think I was going to do this.
Yeah, it's hard to. I don't have the ego to think that my life is worth even writing down. Like it seems silly to say like I'm writing a memoir. I'm
Mhm.
46 years old. I guess, a little over halfway dead. So got some adventures ahead of me. But when I and the things that I've done seem normal to me. But when I tell stories to other people, they all look at me like I'm crazy because I've lived on sailboats for a lot of my adult life. I've traveled all over the world. I've had quite a few near-death experiences. I've had some really bizarre, coincidental things happen in my life, and then I've also been like really close to some major events when they were happening. Being at Ground Zero on 9/11, which was something that has made its way into all of my fiction, and I I think a lot of these stories are entertaining enough to set them down. And when I started compiling them and writing them one after another, I realized, man, I have like at least a book's worth here, if not two books.
Right.
So,
You
and
know, it's really interesting. I just want to add in real quick.
yeah,
I have met many authors, just either locally or chatting online, and many of them are saying the same things you are. It's just like when you're talking about when you think about your life and the things that have happened, the stories that are in your mind, you're like, this is nothing. This is nothing. It's not worth saying. But all of a sudden, you start talking to other people, and they're blown. They're almost amazed, and you're like, wow, I didn't think this was anything.
yeah, and I feel the same way about other people's lives. Like that's one of the
Right?
things I open up with this story is saying that like there's 8 billion amazing
Mm-hmm.
biographies like
Mm-hmm.
this out there,
Mm-hmm.
and mine's just one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, I found Vella to be the perfect outlet for this because it's very informal. It feels like
Mm-hmm.
you're writing directly to readers,
Yeah,
which
very
is
low barrier of entry. Real easy to just be like, I'm just gonna put this on here, and what happens happens, right?
yeah, yeah. It felt like blogging, but in book format. Because I've been blogging for years, and it's a
Okay.
very informal, personal
Hmm.
uh, style of writing, and so
Okay.
this really fit with that.
Well, all right. So let's get into that. Where you are on Kindle Vella. We talked a little bit before we started recording. You are a featured author. How did that happen? Besides
Well, yeah,
magic, we're
I
guessing.
have, I have, I have guesses just like you might. I think I have heard nothing about it from my end, so I have a few theories. And actually, I just found out, as you know, from informing me that I was a featured author. I was like, what is that? Show it to me, and when did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just learning about it from you today. Um, I knew that, like everybody, we got these emails that it was launching soon,
Yeah, and
and
and that's it. By the way, in case anyone didn't know, it like I got nothing. I was expecting like, oh, maybe like a 2 week heads up, like, hey, this is the date. But it just here it is.
well, we did. I think we did get an email like a couple weeks ago that it was going to launch the following week or something, but it ended up launching that week that the email came out. So it wasn't very useful email.
Right, right.
And I'm really lucky that I had like made a final pass and edited
Mm-hmm.
some things
Mm-hmm.
before it went live because like 2 days after that it went live. But I will say like we were guessing in a forum when it would launch like back in May or June, and I just put out July 15th was my guess, and it launched on the 14th.
Well, and
So
and I was scouring the internet. I was checking Reddit and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, where, does anyone have any idea? And yeah, mid July was the only one. So I'm like, I'm in the same boat. I'm trying to crank out all my stuff so I can have it ready to go for the guesstimated date.
yeah, me
So
too. And the day that it launched, I was saying to people, like I made a post on Facebook or Twitter that said, "Hey, this new thing I wrote is going to be out next week." And one of the first responses to it was like, "Hey, I think it just went live. Like I'm seeing it available right now." And I clicked on it. I was like, so I learned about it from a reader that it was live, and then I just started broadcasting that I was out there. So there's a chance that I was getting like some reads and some thumbs up really quickly,
okay,
which may have the Amazon algorithms may have made that a featured author. So that's one possibility. The other is they could have been. I've been publishing these for since May,
hmm,
so they've been sitting there, and I'm sure Amazon's going through to see like
who's got the most
who's
stuff
writing
already
what.
up? Right.
Yeah, and they're probably picking different genres and different people with different backgrounds
Hmm.
and writing histories. It's only U.S. authors and
Right.
readers
So that's
now,
a
I think.
small,
So
it's a small percentage then.
yeah, that cuts a lot of people out.
Hmm.
And it's not that I've had that much more sales than other writers, but it's my career has been very closely tied with KDP and self-publishing, and I've been very pro both
Hmm.
for a long time. So it could be like, oh, hey, this is a name that we're familiar with from KDP. Let's put that up there as well. But my guess it's either algorithmic or editorial that they either the early readers push me up there, or Amazon
Okay.
is highlighting certain authors.
Well, I'm hoping maybe I'll be able to interview an Amazon person one of these days, but that's neither here nor there. Let's really, I want to get back into kind of what do you think really is making this a success for you? Because obviously, being in one of the top spots is great. There's probably hundreds of stories out there. What do you think kind of set you apart? What gave you the edge right out of the gate? Probably your initial blast, right? You know, hey, because you do have a following, right? So you email
Yeah.
everyone out.
Yeah, I think that helped. It's also, I don't know, I haven't looked at the numbers. I've been browsing and reading a little bit on the platform, but I haven't checked this out. But my story is complete. Like, it's an 80,000 word
Okay.
novel,
Hmm.
and you can choose in the background, like, is this ongoing or is it done?
Hmm.
And Amazon could be favoring things that are complete with at least, 10 or 15 um, episodes, because they know readers aren't going to get invested in something that doesn't get finished.
Right. No one wants
Uh,
to read a story that's partially done, or where someone flakes
yeah.
out and they're like, "This is it."
And it could be that the overall length is manageable. So there's probably some luck involved with what's going on.
Hmm.
I, from what I could tell, maybe it's because the free tokens are being used really heavily
Okay.
for
For
the
the
stuff
initial
that's getting
beta,
done.
like the 200 tokens or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't think we get any royalty for the use of those free tokens. I could be wrong about that, but even with what looks like, you know, 5 or 6 thousand full reads or something like that, or
Hmm.
episode
Hmm.
reads, it's not translating into a lot of income.
Hmm.
So my my view of the success of this is that I'm getting a lot of feedback from readers who are loving it, and that's
Okay.
what's important to me.
Hmm.
I would have posted all of this to my blog, and people would have read it for free.
Hmm.
Um, I also will get some good feedback on this for when I turn this into a book and a
Hmm.
KDP and an audiobook. Like,
Hmm.
all those editions will be down the road.
Hmm.
Um, and
It,
so
it almost feels like a
it's like,
preview, right? Like just
yeah,
throwing something out, and you're absolutely right. Like it feels really informal. I mean, I'm in the same boat. Like I was like gonna make a bunch of stories. I was gonna combine them into a book, and then I was like, oh, this seems like a really good chance to just throw it out there and yeah, see how it goes.
yeah, 100%. And I used to send early drafts of stuff out to beta readers and
Hmm.
get feedback.
Hmm.
This is an easier system now. I can invite more people in
Hmm.
to beta read it. But I treat the stuff I'm writing seriously. I don't see it as like rough draft. I not
Right.
only like edit myself, but I paid to have a professional
Hmm.
editor.
Hmm.
David Gatewood, a guy I work with on all my novels, he did a full editing pass. My mom and my partner have both gone through and edited, so I've given it the same rigor I would for a KDP upload.
Okay.
And a matter of fact, when I package this, I'm not going to have to do much to it. I just sew it together
Hmm.
and format it and put it out there as an ebook.
All right. Well, actually, I think that's pretty. I do have one last thing I want to ask for you because yeah, we've covered kind of all the stuff that I really wanted to hit. What are your future plans? Not only for Vela, but just in general. Like, what else do you plan on cranking out? Let's say in the next 5 years.
Oh, 5 years, man.
Is that too far out? I'll stick with a
The
year then.
next 5 months are going to be insane. So I just turned in. I'm doing the final edits on the sequel to Sand for a
Mhm.
publisher. That was a really big deal and a fun book to write.
Okay.
I'm working on a new feature film now that I'm writing with a friend that already has a director and major Hollywood star
Hmm.
interested. So we have a good package there for getting
Cool.
that made. It's a real fun film. And we start filming next month on a TV show for Apple Plus. They're adapting Wool with Rebecca Ferguson as Juliet, the main character. So she's just coming off the Mission Impossible films and
Hmm.
Dune, and she's an absolute star. And
Hmm.
really excited to be working with them. And then I've got a third Sand book to write, and a fifth Molly Fide book, and probably the biggest secret that I haven't told a lot of people is that I'm outlining the next trilogy in the Wool saga that I've kind
Hmm.
of been hinting at for
Hmm.
a decade, but never really confirmed. But we're going to start next year working on the first book and the follow up to the Wool Saga. So that's exciting. And yeah, got a lot in the works. 5 years from now, I think I'll be exhausted again and be taken off to go
Do you
sailing
take a
around the
little
world again.
break? Maybe go go
Yeah,
sailing or something. So nothing
exactly.
else is currently planned for Vela right now. Just
Yeah, well, I have another one started that I'm more working on more offline because I really want to have this one right before I upload
start
the
making anything else.
episodes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it's called the Year of the Rat, and it's a really ambitious project. That's something I'm going to be cooking in the background with all this other stuff going on.
Hmm.
But eventually, it'll be when I have it all done, when I publish it in with Create Space and KDP, it'll be 12 separate novellas that make one big saga.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm going to have like the first 6 or 7 of those novellas written before I start keeping up with the publication of those on Vella.
Huh. Sounds like you're gonna
But
be a very
this
busy
is a big
guy.
plan. Yeah, yeah. This year the rat thing is going to be huge.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's pretty good. Is there anything else you want to say? Anything you want to ask?
Man, no, just encourage anybody who's listening to go check out the Vella platform because you can read so much for free and give
Right.
everything a few chapters. And if you read something you like please reach out to those authors. A lot of them are just starting out or have
Mm-hmm.
very small followings.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a
Hmm.
thumbs up. Give them encouragement. Like we just want to see more art in the world and more people feeling confident in their writing. So keep in mind when you're encountering this writing that, it could be someone who's in high school writing their first book.
That's
It could be
absolutely true. Yep.
someone who's like, really old and finally writing a first book.
Mm.
So I just say be positive and encouraging. And if you feel something negative, you don't have to say something. If you feel something positive, you should figure out every way to say something and help other people discover those works. So go out there and help the people you never heard of become discovered. Be
Yeah.
a great thing for everybody.
Yeah. And with that too, like, criticism is great. A lot of people want constructive criticism. It doesn't. You're not hurting someone by being honest.
Hundred percent
If they don't take that well, that's on them, right?
for sure.
Most of these authors have gone through beta readings, so their souls have already been ripped out of their chest and stomped on multiple times. So we don't really need to get into that. But yeah,
Yeah,
definitely, like reading is great. You learn so much, and you get to. It's almost like you get to see into the author too. You get to learn about them indirectly. So
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think it's just I just try to do as much as I can to encourage up and coming writers to keep at it because there's a lot of growing pains and sometimes you want to quit. You're not having the instant success you think, and
Hmm.
man, your best novel is around the corner. So I just hate to see anybody discouraged when they're early in their writing career. And I think with these serialized platforms, we're going to see a lot of people just getting their feet wet for the first time and
Yep.
I just want to encourage them to dive a lot deeper.
Yeah, and actually, in one of the videos I just made, I said every book you make is like a lottery ticket. You don't know which one is going to be, big for you. So,
Yep,
all right.
exactly.
Well, awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you so much, Hugh.
And that was my chat with Hugh Howey. Very interesting little insight on how the whole featured author thing worked and basically what he did to kind of find some success on this platform. So I'll include all his information in the description below. Thank you for watching and, peace.